Hello, good evening, everybody, or good morning to you wherever you are. Today's topic is on essentials for traveling. So, I'm going to share some really wonderful tips and tricks that you can incorporate into your life while you're on your travels. Just a little disclaimer. Information I'm sharing tonight is not meant to replace any professional medical attention or advice. If you have any medical condition, I would advise you to consult a doctor or a healthcare practitioner. So a little bit about me. There might be some people new tonight. My name is Stephanie, and I'm a certified mediclinical aromatherapist, both from ISAMS and NAHA. I also studied applied metaphysics as well as clinical biotherapy. And I'm also a founder of Therapy Essential Oils, a community of like-minded people who really, truly enjoy natural wellness for themselves and their family and sharing with themselves and their friends. So for some people who are new, I'm just going to touch on just some basics on essential oils and why we actually use it and incorporate into our daily life. So the essential oils are lifeblood of the plants. So basically, they're the essence of life on our planet. They're primarily distilled from plants, and it's sourced everywhere. Like they're literally found in leaves, bark, seeds, and flowers. And the amazing thing about this abundant source of nature is that they make essential oils. So every single bottle and type of essential oil is totally unique. So think of them like family, and all of them have special characteristics and healing properties. So for some of you who are very new to essential oils, you might come across different herbs and spices, or even dried herbs. So essential oils are 300 times more concentrated than a dried herb because these essential oils are alive and dried herbs are dead. And here are some common uses of why we use essential oils in our daily life. They support all of our 12 body systems that can all benefit from essential oils. For example, your respiratory system can be greatly enhanced by essential oils such as peppermint or eucalyptus. Your nervous system can be supercharged by frankincense, and your endocrine system can be balanced by touches of Endoflex. And of course, essential oils are a real bonus when it comes to detoxifying our bodies. And it's a wonderful way of incorporating non-toxic and chemical-free living in our lives. As we know, we're constantly bombarded by toxins and chemicals. So by infusing essential oils, making DIYs, essential oil infused products, they are a much safer and healthier way for our bodies to thrive. Of course, beautifying our skin regime. In fact, Cleopatra started her first spa using essential oils back in the day. So she used a lot of rose and myrrh and frankincense. And lastly, it does support our spiritual journey, whether we use it to calm ourselves, to connect, to meditate, to pray. So, the list and possibilities are endless. And just a quick recap, there's several ways how we can use these oils that I'm going to mention for the rest of the evening. Topical, aromatic, and internal. So topical is where we just take out an oil, put it in our palms, rub them together, cup over our nose, and inhale. So that's combining topical and aromatic. So if you have a sore tummy, you would rub some oils on your belly. Sore muscles, again, topical. Aromatic, it's diffusing it or inhaling it from your palms. Internally is when we would add it into a glass of water or capsules, combining into milk or honey. And in fact, it actually goes beyond this, which we call French aromatherapies when supervised by medical professionals. Some hospitals have done it intravenously. So, and it's really important, the type and the quality of essential oil used when dealing with internal and, of course, intravenously. Which leads me to our next slide of just some quick safety. Use only the highest quality that's pure and unadulterated. So meaning it's not combined with any fillers, or it's been adulterated or created in the lab, because a lot of times these days there's so many essential oils that are out in the market. They may only contain 5% of the purest oils, and they add synthetic fillers for the rest of it. Of course, when you're using it for the first time, patch test for adverse reactions and dilute if needed. Remember, you gotta start low and go slow. And what that means is, if you do feel like there's a rash-like symptom, like it just means your body is just detoxifying itself. It doesn't mean that you're allergic to essential oils, because we can't be allergic to essential oils. It doesn't contain a certain protein. But people might have rash-like symptoms, and that just means that your body's just more acidic and it just needs to detox. So because the oils are pulling out toxins from your body. So if that happens, I suggest to dilute with some carrier oil like coconut oil or vegetable oil. Drink lots of water to flush out your system. Stop using the oils for about a week, and then then introduce it back again. And of course, try to reduce chemical skincare products or personal care products, because that just overloads our body with more toxins. Finally, using citrus oil safely. Oils like lemon, grapefruit, lime, bergamot, citrus fresh, orange, because they have a thing called photosensitivity, meaning when it's exposed under the sun, you tend to get, it's just sensitive. They call it photosensitive. So that just means if you apply it on your hand or any part of the body and expose in the sun, it would turn brown pigmentation. So I would highly advise to avoid sun exposure for about 24 hours. But if you're applying it underneath your clothing, then that is all right. So now, which leads us to the fun part of our webinar session. So I'm going to take you on a journey of what I went through last month. I was on the road for about a month with my husband and I, and I just decided to kind of document my journey and just share with you what I do in my daily life when I travel. And I do travel a lot. Every week or 10 days or a couple of weeks, I'm always on a plane or on the road somewhere. But I just decided to take you on a different journey. So just remember, be more mindful. Anything that I'm suggesting here, it doesn't need to be a big trip. It could just be as simple as going away on the weekends, visiting your families, your friends, taking a journey to your office in the car, or it doesn't have to be a big travel trip for you to incorporate this into your daily life. And just a little bit of some quick tips on some research that they've done. It shows that when people are reconnecting themselves with nature, tends to have a reduction of anxiety, and it promotes a peace of mind. So I encourage you all to, try to get unplugged, walk around a natural landscape, even in the garden, in your house. If you're close to a beach, fantastic. Or, going to a park, kayaking in the lake, going for hikes, or just being around beautiful plants can already increase positive emotions. Because when we're in that beautiful state, it allows us to be more creative It gives us more energy, and it just inspires us to be better people. In fact, UC Berkeley discovered that people tend to be more trusting, helpful, generous after being exposed to picturesque natural scenes. So this picture here is an RV that my husband and I lived in for about 2.5 weeks in the Canadian Rockies. So this is a car where we slept, we showered, we ate, we drove around. It was a lot of fun. So let's get on with it. So here's just a sample of my daily routine. And it's, again, this daily routine doesn't change whether I'm at home or if I'm on the road. So this is what I do. I start my morning with lemon infused water. So we gotta have a glass of water anyway when we wake up, right? So why not make it infused? So I drop about a couple of drops of lemon in warm water, and that helps it kickstart my day and my body. And in fact, lemon essential oil is where all the nutrients come from. It comes from the rind of the fruit, so it's a lemon skin, and that's all the nutrients and all the goodness comes in. And there are a lot of studies that have been done that lemon essential oil has high antioxidant, it's anti-tumor, anti-cancer. So that's how I start my day. And in fact, for some people, it cleanses their bowels, keeps them regular, and the bonus is lemon one is the #1 detoxing agent. So that's how I start my day. And then, during the day, I might have a cup of peppermint tea or thieves tea. So thieves is a great essential oil to boost your immune system, whether you're traveling, getting on a plane or at home. So that's always something that I keep very close to me. NINGXIA Red is an antioxidant drink. They come in very handy little sachets, like 60 ml sachets, and they're actually my favorite. Like of all my essential oil collection and anything, people always ask me, "Hey, Steph, what's your favorite oil to use?" And I tell them it's actually not essential oil. In fact, it's NINGXIA Red, and I cannot live without them. So they're always with me, and it gives you a burst of energy. So that's my antioxidant dose. Mineral essence is basically trace minerals. So as you know, all our bodies are made of minerals, and no matter how healthy we are, what kind of food we eat, there's no way that we can supplement our bodies with enough minerals. So a Nobel Peace Prize winner actually stated that, if our body is deficient, if our body have a certain condition, it just means that our body is deficient in certain minerals. And mineral essence contains 72 of those trace minerals. So I combine that with NINGXIA Red and just, make it really easy. Master Formula is basically a multivitamin. They come in very handy, like blister packs, like little daily doses. So it's really easy. I unbox it and I put it into like Ziploc bags, and I just really just chuck it in my suitcase. And every day I would just rip open a sachet. Super B is vitamin B. Because I'm on a plant-based diet, we don't tend to get enough vitamin B's in our diet. So that's where I supplement with Super B. Alkaline, I don't have it every day, but I always have it on standby, especially when travel, because sometimes, depending on the food you're eating, or, if you're in a city that's very, very hot, alkaline helps to cool your body down and balance your pH levels, brings down the acidity, and brings your body in a state of alkaline. Immune Power Thieves, they're just essential oils that I kind of alternate to support the immune system. Inner Defense is a must-have when you're traveling, because you just never know what's going to happen. And I suggest this is something that we should all have standby at home as well, because when you get the initial onset of cold, flu, cough, fever, or whatever that's going on, inner defense is the natural alternative to antibiotics. They've done tests and it's pretty much shown that inner defense is really like antibiotics, but a natural version. So this is the reason why I drink my NINGXIA Red every morning. It's just amazing. If you want to screen grab this, feel free, or you can even Google NINGXIA Red, and there's just tons of information out there why this drink is so amazing. It comes from a province in China called NINGXIA, and they found out that people living in that province generally live 4 times longer than the average people in China. And on average, like they live over 100 years and they hardly get sick. There's been university studies that have, researched this fruit, like the wolfberry fruit, that it is the highest superfood known to man today. You can just see the antioxidant and the nutrient levels, just having 2 ounces, which is 60 ml. And that also comes in that handy sachet that I was talking about. We can't really eat 118 broccolis as much as we want to, even, blitzing it, making into soup. There's no way we can have that much in a day. So this is where we supplement with this, and it's absolutely delicious. If you've heard of that, the old age saying of, anything that tastes bad for you must be good, whenever it comes to some herbs or, boiling herbs when it's bitter. So this is not the case. It is so delicious. You can have it for your children. If you have young kids, start to introduce them to have a bit of NINGXIA Red, and that's wonderful for their immunity as well. Now, so some people have a phobia of flying. Now, this can be quite a big issue for a lot of people. Other people are okay, but if you do have a phobia of flying or it just makes you nervous, here are some oils that can help just to ground you and calm you down. I love Valor and Peace and Calming, because that Valor, what is Valor? Valor just means courage. So, applying it over your chest and your wrist and inhaling it. Remember, why do we inhale essential oils, and why is that so important? Because when we inhale, it accesses the limbic region of our brain. And the limbic region of the brain is the one that controls our emotions, our mood, and memory. So I keep repeating this. Out of our 5 senses, the only way we can really truly affect the limbic region of the brain is through sense of smell. So that's why, smelling the oils are so important, especially when we want to, balance emotions and mood. So that's why, we have this fear of phobia. Inhaling, applying these oils are very helpful. Of course, stress away, because for some people, flying is stressful, whether they're rushing to the airport, getting to the terminals, or it just becomes a stressful part of the day. Don't even talk about flying, talking about people who are commuting to work, if they're getting to traffic, even, people who live in the big cities, some of you are in Jakarta right now, I can feel you, understand and relate, driving through 2 hours or 3 hours of traffic, it is really stressful. So I remember one time when I was getting back from work one night, and it took me 3 hours to get home, and I must have used half a bottle of Stress Away. It was ridiculous. So I feel for you. So whenever you're feeling really stressed out, reach out to these oils. And next up, jet lag. Now this is common, that happens all the time, but I can help you actually fight this. So on my last month's travel, when I first went to the States and then Canada, and even coming back home, I didn't experience an ounce of jet lag at all. And this is going through, traveling 30 odd hours, like 30, 36, almost, 38 hours traveling between different cities and time zones. So this is what I do. So get oils such as cedarwood, peppermint, basil, and just keep it handy in your bag. I normally have like, a smaller version of my oil travel pouch in my bag, in my hand carry bag, and then the rest I just check in. So when you, just before getting on the plane or before taking off, inhale cedarwood. And why cedarwood? Because cedarwood is one of the oils that, we call high in sesquiterpenes. That's just a fancy way of saying oxygenating your brain. So the more you inhale cedarwood, it just helps to oxygenate your brain. So you're lifting your brain fog, just it helps to clear your head out. So then cedarwood obviously is very grounding. So inhaling that, and of course peppermint kind of keeps you awake. So depending on what kind of time zone you're getting into, peppermint is great when you just want that perk me up. Basil is just excellent as well for fighting jet lag. And then I would take NINGXIA Red, sometimes 2 sachets up to 3, depending on, again, the time zone. And let's say once I arrive in the city or my location, and if let's say it's during the daytime, morning or afternoon, I would either take more of the NINGXIA Red, or if I start to feel a bit tired, then I would pop a NINGXIA Nitro. So the Nitro is definitely a lot stronger. It gives you a massive burst of energy. And so that I take to pretty much stay awake until the nighttime. So I keep my body awake until the local time where it's time to go to bed. And then when that time comes around, I would pop about two capsules of the sleep essence, which is really a natural sleeping pill. And I would take that just before bedtime, and literally the next morning when I wake up, like I'm back on the clock, I'm back on a local time, and you just feel amazing. Like you just feel like, like nothing's happened, like time hasn't stopped, and you're just getting about your day. So this is my little trick and tip for traveling, and it works every single time. The sleep essence is amazing because it's helped a lot of my friends and clients who've taken sleeping pills many, many years, and they're trying to get off it. So when I switch them to sleep essence, which is natural and obviously less harmful to the body, and now they sleep very well, and they no longer rely on sleeping pills. And next up, this happens whether you're traveling or not. So these are my go-to oils for any tummy bugs, food poisoning, or even nausea. So Digest, Peppermint, Ginger, Aroma Ease. So these are the 4 key oils, I would say, to support digestive system. Digest is basically a blend. It's a blend comprised of different single oils mixed into Digest. So you have things like tarragon, peppermint, ginger, fennel. If you come across food poisoning, which happens, always have empty vegetable capsules on standby. And what you want to do is add about 4 to 6 drops of Digest into the capsule, swallow it with warm water, add a couple of drops over your belly and rub it. Now, this has been absolute lifesavers for many, many people. And they found that, just after taking 1 capsule, depending on how severe it is, they might even increase the dose to 8 to 10 drops. It literally stops the diarrhea, like literally. And they're absolutely amazed. So that is something that is very, very handy to take with you while traveling. And of course, I would really suggest, when you're going to a new city, and you're not sure of, the quality of water, adding a drop of that with, let's say, the local water that they drink, whether it's bottled or not, or filtered, adding into the water and then drinking it, combined with the water, kind of adjust your body to the local water. So then you're not prone to catching any bacteria or bugs. Peppermint is also something that is just wonderful, whether you have bloating or gas. Again, you can add in capsules, applying directly on your tummy as well. Now, for sleeping, we might have sleep issues whether we're at home or traveling. Over the years, I travel so much that sometimes it's so hard to adjust myself. Like sometimes I find myself waking up in the middle of the night and then looking inside and just freaking out a little bit. Oh, where am I? And then I realize like I'm in a different city, and then a few days later I'm somewhere else. So then when I started using essential oils, to use it before I sleep, I have a much more restful sleep, and it just more peaceful and rested. So I would suggest getting a diffuser, in your bedroom, and diffuse things like lavender, peace and calming, rutabaga. So they're just oils that are calming, and feel free to mix and match a bit. Some people even mix lavender and cedarwood, and they find that it's extremely relaxing for them. Again, one oil may not be suitable for another. So try and experiment what works for you. Also applying on the bottoms of your feet, your neck, your temples, your wrists, inhaling it. So that just kind of sets the mood and the moment just before bed. And, for some of you who, maybe doing a breathing or, gratitude before bed, this is a wonderful way to incorporate that. And of course, sleep essence. So this is what happened, when we just on our travels, I would sometimes, depending again on the time zone. So if we're on the plane and you're crossing different time zone and I'm trying to beat the clock of their local time, I would also pop a couple of sleep essence and try to go to bed. And this is what happened. My husband, when he knocked out. And of course, payback can be quite fun. And this is on our way home, where I pretty much knocked out as well. And here are other tips that you can do to incorporate the oils in, let's say, a hotel room, or even anywhere that you're traveling to, whether it's your relative's place or your home. So the diffuser on the bottom is a desert mist diffuser. So that's something that you might have at home. But, if you have a lot of space in your luggage, you might wrap that in a towel and just put it in a suitcase and bring it with you when you travel. Otherwise, there's another diffuser called the orb, which is that little thing there. It doesn't diffuse a big area though. So that's something where you would use maybe, in a car. It's actually a car diffuser, or you would put it in your office desk, or if I'm really desperate, I would kind of carry it around and, have a little mobile diffuser because it's powered by a USB. Otherwise, making a spritz, making a linen spray, with your favorite oils and bring it with you, spraying on the linen or, your pillows. That's also a great way to unwind. So I would, carry, let's say, a empty spray bottle, and I would fill it with my favorite oils. And when I spray on my pillow, whether I'm in a hotel or, in an RV or anywhere, it just reminds me of home. So this is another way that another tip that I started using to make me feel more at home, because home to me is, anywhere. Although Bali is my home, but, I can make home and I can bring it with me anywhere on the road. Now, fun in the sun. So this is where we can start to create natural sunscreen, or Young Living has a mineral sunscreen lotion in SPF 50 or 10. regardless of where we are, we're always under the sun. We're going to the beach, on a holiday, or even sporting activities over the weekend or anywhere. We're always exposed to sun. So the amazing thing about this mineral sunscreen is that it's free from all the bad stuff like phthalates, petrochemicals, synthetic preservatives, fragrances, dyes, and of all things, it's also reach safe. So I'm sure you know that nowadays there are a lot of sunscreen out there that are filled with chemicals, and they are actually destroying the reefs in our ocean. And it's really, really sad. And, a lot of people don't realize this, but I urge you to, go around and look at some environmental groups and, in YouTubes and videos and, sustainability, like, they're actually damaging the oceans and our planet. So one thing you can do is stop using chemical sunscreen and start switching it to plant-based and natural sunscreen. Otherwise, you can make your own. Grab a quarter cup of V6, a carrier oil, add 20 drops of carrot seed. Carrot seed has a natural SPF of 30. Adding 15 drops of myrrh and 10 drops of lavender, mix it up together, and that is your natural sunscreen. Some people alternate the V6 carrot oil with, let's say, the Kit Sense lotion. So they mix it all together and, applying it over their skin. So it, makes it feel very lightweight. And in the event you get burnt, which could happen, making a little cooling gel. So adding lavender essential oils with pure aloe vera gel, because lavender helps to cool the body down, and it cools the burns, and it's just more soothing to the skin. Otherwise, you can use a lavender spray, which is already infused with lavender and other healing essential oils. And they're actually very effective. Now, bug repellent, insect repellent, again, let's start to think about swapping anything that we use that contains chemical to something that's non-toxic and totally natural and plant-based. So you have a choice of using the Young Living insect repellent. Again, it's all infused with essential oils and it's natural. Or you can make your own. Back then, we didn't have the insect repellent, so I made my own. I got a spray bottle, filled it with water, added 20 drops of purification and, maybe another 10 drops of citronella and, a little bit of lavender or peppermint, because apparently like mosquitoes and ants, they don't really like peppermint. And then I just use that and spray in my body, spray in my pants, and I would not get bitten. For all you moms out there, this is a wonderful recipe that a lovely friend of mine shared that she used for her baby. And he was about maybe 8 or 9 months old at that time, and she used a lavender spray, which is this white bottle that you see. Also can be used for the sun if you're sunburned, or you add 100 mils of water in a spray bottle. Add 20 drops of carrot seed and 20 drops of purification. So those combined with the lavender spray is 2-in-1. It's sun and bug protection. And she shared with us that, when they went on holidays in Australia with the strong heat, her baby didn't get burnt and also didn't get bitten. So it's a win-win. Now, physical workout. Again, this could be a daily routine or a weekend, or, when we tend to travel, go overseas, we like to do more physical stuff. Like we walk a lot, we venture out, and pretty much we end the day pretty exhausting. It's quite funny because when people hear, my husband and I are going on holidays, they were like, oh, great, you get to relax. But in fact, like my holidays with my husband is pretty intense because He's a photographer, so he likes to be up before the sunrise, and he chases the sunset. So we're up at like pre-dawn, and depending on where we're in the world, so in Canada, the sun was setting at 9:30 at night. So we're pretty much out for the entire day and just constantly walking and venturing out. So by the end of the day, we're just exhausted. So luckily, I have lots of little tips and tricks up my sleeves to keep my day going. So one, I use peppermint and RC. So peppermint, what peppermint does is it helps to enhance my workout. Like it actually boosts my athletic performance. And the next slide, I'll show you why. And RC basically means respiratory care. So it's an oil that we would commonly use for coughs, but a lot of people don't know that you can use this for your workout, because what it does is it's opening up your airways, it's opening up your chest. So it's enabling you to breathe better. And then I would add in, depending on how physical the workout is or my day is, I would take NINGXIA Nitro in addition to NINGXIA Red. Panaway and Deep Relief, they are just, they're going to be your best friends when you have a physical day ahead of you, because when you're having the aching sore muscles from walking too much, or hiking up a mountain, you're going to be pouring those oils on you pretty much for the rest of the evening. Cool Azul Pain Cream is actually it's the first over-the-counter, what they call OTC, over-the-counter item that was approved by the FDA, from Young Living. So, like over the OTC drugs, or, from things in the pharmacy, you got to have like FDA approval, right? So Coolazone Pain Cream is one of the first ones that got approved. So they can actually pretty much claim that, yes, this helps to relieve pain. Marjoram and aroma seeds are oils that I use to soothe any muscle, so any muscular aches and pains. It just helps to relax the muscles. So you know how sometimes when you do a really intense workout after, kind of being a bum after a month or two, your muscles will get sore. So I suggest you to start rubbing the oils before you work out, and then after your post-workout, do that so your muscles won't be fatigued. Yeah? And Copaiba is just a great oil to help with any pain, like any pain or inflammation whatsoever. They're just great to have on standby. In fact, Copaiba is one of the highest anti-inflammatory oils on the planet. At the same time, interestingly, for some of you mothers who have teething babies, this is excellent to help decrease the fussiness of your teething children. So this was pretty much my routine when I was in Canada, when we were hiking about 6 to 9 hours every day. So that's just the hiking part. That's not counting the amount of hours that we're on our feet all day. So this is about 6 to 9 hours going up mountain, climbing down. So I can really share and attest that these things truly made a massive difference, because I'm not a hiker and I don't like really high intense workout. I like the more slow and steady pace. But when you're in the Canadian Rockies, you're surrounded by such amazing mountains. It's kind of hard not to want to go and hike and enjoy these amazing views. So this is another picture, another moment of one of our hikes. And at this point, this is 7 hours into my hike, and we are just approaching the end of a glacier. And that's me looking at Mount Lefroy. And again, I constantly use the oils throughout my hikes, and it really helped a lot. The one in the top left was, if you look at that little tiny little pathway. It looks really easy, but from there to, you know, maybe just the top of that, the green tree line, it looked really easy, but it honestly took an hour just to hike that one part, and it was massively steep. So I'd already had my one NINGXIA nitro by that time, and by the time I got to the top, you know, trying to work our way down, I was like, this was probably about 4 hours in, and I said, okay, I'm just gonna have another one. And that was about if I'm not mistaken, about 4 o'clock in the evening. I decided to have another NINGXIA nitro, thinking that, you know, I'm gonna burn it off and I'm gonna be so exhausted, I'm gonna sleep well like a baby that night. But that didn't happen. So remember how NINGXIA nitro is really, really energizing? So I didn't go to bed till probably 2 or 3 in the morning because it just, you know, was so energizing. It just kept me up like the whole night. So little, you know, warning. If you have a nitro, make sure you have it, you know, during the day, maximum midday, or, you know, kind of early afternoon, because anything later, you're not going to fall asleep. But if you are burning the midnight oil, if you know that you're going to need to stay up really late, then it's okay. It's okay to have one in the evening, because then that just keeps you up that night. So that's little cool azul, and then my little Panaway. This was after 6 hours coming back down, and I was just lathering that all over. The top right corner is what you see, a little bottle, and I actually poured Sacred Mountain. So before my trip, I decided to choose an essential oil I've never smelled before and that I want to take on my trip. And here's a couple of reasons why I decided to do it. One is because, as we know, smelling and a sense of smell is so powerful, right? It takes us back to, you know, memories, like memories of a childhood. So sometimes, you know, when people bake certain treats, you know, what does that remind you of? Some people say, oh, it takes me straight back to my childhood days. So that's why smell has got such a strong link to memory. So I wanted to have an oil with me in my pocket that I could smell constantly throughout my trip, when I'm in nature, so that when I come back home or wherever I am, or in any situation, I can take this oil out, have a good whiff, and it would take me straight back to the Rockies and being in the mountains. And it worked. So I chose Sacred Mountain, and I decided to have a little fun and infused it with some crystals. So I added black onyx here, which is actually very grounding. It's a protection oil as well. And it also coincidentally helps with the respiratory system. So I was choosing what crystals to have, and I saw this and I'm like, okay, this is perfect, because I'm going to be huffing and puffing up the hill. So I might as well, you know, have as many things I can in my favor. So that's what I did. So this is my little perfume. It was my oil that I had in my pocket literally every day. And I pretty much till I think the end of my trip, I barely had a drop left. I was like savoring it till the end. And then when I came home and I opened the bottle again and I smelled it, and immediately I just closed my eyes, inhaled it, and it just really brought me straight back to being in the mountains, being in nature. So I urge you, try this out. Find an oil that you haven't, smelled before, or something that you like. Associate that with, wonderful, good memories, so that anytime during the day you need to pick me up, open that bottle and have a good whiff. Now, this is the reason why peppermint is so powerful in helping our physical workout and challenges. This was actually a study that was done by the Journal of International Society of Sports Medicine, where they actually proved that when they gave peppermint essential oil to athletes, it actually showed their athletic performances improved. So if you want to have a read of this study, that's the link. And it's amazing. It's wonderful. It's one of the oils that
that really got my husband hooked because, you know, he used to run, you know, 10Ks a day, and I hated running. So I was, you know, trying to find something that can help me reduce my stitch. So, and then I stumbled upon this article and I said, maybe let's try. And, you know, a lot of my friends know that my husband's my guinea pig. So I went to say, hey, would you like to run faster or better? And at that time, he was, you know, very new to essential oil and he was very skeptic. So I got him to try, like, you know, a drop of peppermint in, you know, a glass of water about half an hour to 40 minutes before he would go out for his run. And then I get him to do that consecutively daily. And at the end of the week, he said, you know, his timing, he was, you know, running faster. He could recover faster even, and he could breathe better, more importantly. So, you know, he would have a glass and also add, you know, a drop in the water bottle. So as he's running, you know, he could sip. Now, so that, since that day forward, he decided to time his run around peppermint water. So then he would, you know, look at us like, all right, time for a peppermint now. And then off he went, you know, half an hour later. So I encourage you to try this if you know, like doing any strenuous workouts, you know, try this out. You would really feel a difference. Now, injuries. Now, this will happen regardless whether you're on the road or not. And this picture is unfortunately taken of my sad leg. I like to say that this happened when, you know, I was hiking up the mountain, you know, jumping across rocks and mountains and, you know, having my knees scraped, but that didn't happen. And I actually scraped it falling out of bed. Yes, it's actually not very glamorous, but you know, when you're sleeping in the RV and there's that one morning when you kind of get really startled, you get up and I didn't realize how close to the edge I was from the bed. And as you know, like everything is like in close proximity. So to my left, it's already the bathroom, and in front of me was the closet. So I literally fell and the corner of my knee hit the corner of the closet. Like it was like a sharp edge. And thank God, you know, I didn't hit my face or anywhere. But as soon as that happened, I just thought, oh shoot. I think this was very early on in our trip. And I said, oh my gosh, I think I busted it, and thinking that's the end of our trip and I won't be able to go on hikes. So immediately it you know, started bleeding. So I started taking out my first aid kit. So my first aid, I don't reach out for the traditional first aid kit. I reached out for my oils kit. So I just started pouring lavender over it. Pour lavender over the open wound because lavender, one, is a natural antiseptic, and two, it stops bleeding. So all your moms out there, you know, if you have young kids, this is what you can do as well, because this is going to happen, whether they're at home or out in the field or out anywhere. So have lavender in standby, and I just poured it. And then throughout the day, all I did was I just layered these oils together. So Valor is excellent for bruising. It's one of the go-to oils for bruising besides helichrysum, but I didn't have my helichrysum on me, so I had Valor. And then Copaiba, as you know, if you remember I mentioned, it's great to bring down any inflammation and pain. So I poured around it. I kept applying it. And then pat away just on the outside. And I never put it on an open wound, but just on the areas of pain. So this was pretty much daily progression of just, you know, what I did with my oil routine as this happened. With the intensity and you know, how I actually hit it, it would actually have turned out really, really bad. But the oils, honestly, it helped so much. And within 2 hours, I was already hiking. I was out probably hiking for another 5 hours that day. and I honestly didn't feel as much pain. It was sore and tender, but it kept me going. The other thing that I had on standby was sulfurzyme. Now, sulfurzyme is a capsule, it's like a supplement, and what that does is it brings down inflammation, any inflammation from your body. So I probably double or triple dosed it, which is fine because it's normal, it's natural. But I decided to ramp up the dose because that time, my body was probably having lots of signs of inflammation. So I doubled and tripled the dose for the first few days, and then I slowly tapered it down. And honestly, I think if it wasn't for the oils and the supplements, I don't think I would have been able to walk, let alone, like go on hikes. Now, feeling under the weather. So this happens a lot to us, our children. So these are my go-to oils when we're just feeling a little bit crook. Thieves, again, is just one of the most powerful oils that support and boost your immune system. RC, for all those coughs and colds. Peppermint, lavender, inner defense. And if you can get a chance to get your hands on some Thieves cough drops and lozenges, they're just excellent. Like, when you start to have a little, itchy throat, just, having that, just kind of in your bag or at home is a lot better than, the store-bought or over-the-counter. Someone actually did a comparison. They looked at the ingredients behind those conventional lozenges, like a cough lozenges that you would find in a chemist, and then they compared it with the Thieves lozenges. And what they found in the conventional one was all these, like sugar and additives and preservatives and all these nasties. And then when I looked at the Thieves lozenges, they were just essential oils, and it was just like 3 ingredients versus 12, or even 20 ingredients with a conventional one. So urge you to start looking at what you're putting in your body and see if you can find some natural alternatives. And of course, NINGXIA Red is just something that even if you start feeling the initial onset of something happening, tripling your dose of the NINGXIA Red is fine, because that's just going to get your body bouncing back to health a lot quicker. So this was a picture taken in the RV, in our little, what we call a little kitchenette, a little dining area. So that's my husband just kind of demonstrating when you're on the road, you're not going to have the convenience of a diffuser. So usually if I'm at home, we would use, the Aroma Lux or Aroma Dome diffuser, where it's more concentrated diffusion. But, if you're limited with space and weight, you can't bring everything. So I pretty much went old school and did where the traditional ways, what, probably our, grandparents did. I got a metal bowl or, a glass bowl, like a salad bowl of hot water, and I added, a few drops of Thieves, or you can change that to peppermint, eucalyptus, RC, whatever you want, depending on what's going on. And then just cover your head over, use a towel and cover over your head. Yeah, and then just inhale deeply, like, just breathe it in for 5 minutes, and, do it a few times during the day. That would make a massive difference. And then inner defense, of course, just something on standby at all times. And usually we would, double the dose for the first couple of days, and then just take a normal dose. Now, food can be quite challenging for some people, depending on where they're going, what countries, what kind of dietary requirements that they have. So this was our little home. Like, again, it was a kitchen and, our dining area. So that was, my little space of creating meals every day. And some places, it wasn't even convenient to eat, like, or go out. So we would have to cook our own meals. And this is, might be true for some of you. So let's say you're traveling, whether you're in a country that doesn't have anything that, again, suits your dietary requirements. Often you might just go to the supermarket, grab some stuff and come back to your hotel room and whip something up together. So I would always have, some what I call culinary or herb oils with me, like lemon, basil, thyme, black pepper, because then that just adds a little bit of flavor to your meals. I would also always have Sleek Shake on standby, because Sleek Shake is like, it's pretty much a meal in a glass, what I call a meal in a glass. It's a protein, it's completely vegan. So it's just handy, and I mix that with NINGXIA Red and I call that my meal. And one, it's nutritious. Two, it's also filling. And because I've been vegan, so sometimes going to a place can be quite challenging. So having those two on standby, like if I'm a bit hungry, I know I can look into that and have a meal while going out and sourcing others as the day went on. And Sleek energy bars are just your kind of like muesli or your energy bars. So they have a range from Sleek, and it's really, really tasty. It's got nuts in it, it's got fruit in it. So when people are trying to lose weight, they would combine having the Sleek energy bars with the Sleek shakes as a kind of like a weight management program. And einkorn granola, it was just a lovely treat to have in the mornings, when you can't cook much or go anywhere for breakfast. So I would have that as my breakfast. So this is an example of just some of the meals that I prepared in our little motorhome. So in the top left, and that's what you see, it's a Sleek Shake. So I was in a hike, and I was just starving, and I wasn't sure how long. I think I've eaten my bananas, I already had my trail mix and all my fruits, and it was going to be another few hours before we would come down a hill. So luckily, I had my Sleek Shake and NINGXIA, so I just made myself one and just had it, and it sustained me for the next few hours. The einkorn granola, so that's just something I had for breakfast. I infused, the soups with some basil and thyme oils, and they're just lovely to have with you. Obviously it was freezing cold, so having these soupy dishes was really handy and nutritious. Now, personal care. Now, when we travel, we have our own toiletry kit, right? So when I travel, I always have a toiletry kit that I would make travel sizes for, whether it's shampoo, body wash, face wash. So I don't travel with, half my toilet, half the things in my bathroom, because that just doesn't make sense. It'll probably, take up, pretty big chunk of the weight, especially when we're trying to travel light. So I always have a bag where it's travel size, and I just top that up every time, and it's always ready to go. So I don't have to do it every week, especially when I travel so much. So it's always on standby. And now, as you know, personal care items are one of the biggest culprit to toxins and chemical overload, and endocrine disruptors, especially for us women. So try to replace it with natural products where your body has a chance to repair itself without the overburdening of your liver. So check out some of these oil-infused products as well, like toothpaste, mouthwash, the shampoo, the body wash, the skincare. So just know that all this is natural, plant-based, and what I always go with a rule with, if you can't eat it, don't apply on your skin. So this is true. So your skin is your largest organ of your body. So whatever you apply, the body absorbs. So just, be really mindful, what you're putting on. And, I'm sure you heard about the umbilical cord study, where they drew the blood from the umbilical cord of an unborn baby, and they found 236 chemicals. And that's a bit, surprising, because doctors are like, well, that's insane because the baby's not born yet. How is it exposed to all these toxins? And then they started looking at the mother, asking her, what is she applying? What is she eating? What is she doing and using? And it all came down to the personal care products, even down to, pesticides that are covered in fruits and veggies. If you don't clean it well enough, or, let's say if it's not organic. Um, so again, these toxins stay in our bodies for years and years. So just, do yourself a favor and, be a little kinder. Um, the bottom right is a Thieves fruit and veggie spray. So this is just something handy, when you're on the go, just spray. It just cleans your fruits and veggies a lot better. Strips away any of the chemicals or pesticides. Um, a dear friend also shared this tip for her baby. She used it to spray the pacifier when they're out and about. So that's also another handy tip. I also have, the Thieves spray and even the hand purifier gel with me at all times. It's in my, my handbag. So yeah, have a look at, what you can start to incorporate and swap. Oh yeah, the fun, a fun thing that happened was at top left picture was a what's it called? A laundromat that we stopped by in the States just before we went on our trip to Canada. We had a whole bunch of dirty washing that we need to do. And obviously, as you know, hotel laundry can be very, very expensive. So I always carry a little bit of my Thieves laundry detergent. And then I brought it to a laundromat, and I use my own wash and my washing detergent, because, like I was saying, our skin is the largest organ. Whatever we wash our clothes with, whether it's a detergent or the softener, it sticks on our clothes. And then where does the clothes go? It stays in our body pretty much 90% of the time during the day. So when people are having skin allergies or respiratory issues, the number one thing that you should remove is laundry powder detergent, because that is the most toxic thing that we actually can expose ourselves to. So again, food for thought, something to, be more mindful of. And there you have it, a little sharing of my little venture. But again, this is, take what you need, take any information that you need, and adjust it to your daily life. And I'm going to open up to the listeners tonight. If you have any questions, type in the chat or unmute yourself and ask away. Despite anybody have any questions? You can even ask me anything that it's not travel related. You're welcome, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in.